Welcome in, everybody, to Press Pass Live. As per usual, we're running late. I can't get these guys rounded up and on time to save our lives, but it's okay. We're here. We made it. Decked out in Dr. Pepper, we got Mr. Maniac. Decked out in Nebraska, we got Mr. Hurt. Fellas, how we doing today?
It's marvelous.
Doing well. It's Friday.
It took us so long because we had to get Big Hurt's big old forehead out the front of the camera. We had to get that camera back so we could see everything. Fellas, Madden 27's been out for a little bit, and I would just say up front, much like the vibes of college football 27, the vibes are not great for whatever reason, and the game itself is really good. I don't know what's going on, but this is where we find ourselves. I would assume that we're still in preseason overall. Like, people's brains have not fully engaged.
Yeah, I think that's probably safe to say because I know with college football, I think everybody's still kind of like, again, we talked about this before. They're all burnt by the bad game. You know, I know I was the last couple years. It seemed like last year's game was just a total trash bin, but I think then you start seeing these little things crop up. The game's like really good, gameplay's like really good, but these little things crop up with like the different things within the dynasty and stuff, and the guys are like, "Oh, here we go again." You know, it's not like it don't take much to get that train derailed.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like you stub your toe and then you try and avoid doing that again because it hurts, and then like something happens to where the smallest thing, like Maniac said, and it's just kind of like, yep, I remember what this is like. So hopefully they get things figured out. I personally think the game, when you're playing the game, looks good, feels good, and I haven't been able to say that in a couple years. So hopefully they get it all figured out.
Look at Hurt not wanting to say anything because he knows that when I have him and Maniac on these shows, they're 4.5 hours long, but we're going to twist his nipple. We're going to get him to talk. Sliders, fellas, both of you played a lot of games. I haven't because I've been taking time to do none of this sexy work that no one else wants to do and no one else even wants to help with. I've been looking at I spent literally 2.5 hours last night going through every playbook in the game, counting formations, doing a bunch of I put up the new CFM because we were already at like week 15, and Zoe's like, there's too many injuries and too many fatigue and there's too many trades, like I need a fresh start with my team. So anyway, we got that. It's set up. It's ready to go. But how are the sliders feeling? I feel like we're close. Like there's a couple things I got my eyes on: wide receiver catch, quarterback accuracy, tackle, and run block. Outside of that, I think we're pretty close. What are you guys thinking about the sliders?
Yeah, with my games. Go ahead.
I think personally, like the only things that I had were just like, I felt like the running game was difficult, but I like that to where it's not just like, a simple dive or draw or stretch play and you just gash people left and right. You kind of have to set the run up, read the block, be patient. Type of thing. So I think the running game was more difficult. You didn't see guys having 15 carries for 100 yards repetitively. But I also think like at times I think there was an adjustment made. Like Maniac, if I remember, he and I played a game and it was just like pass rush was insane. Like you had no time, and we didn't have a ton of sacks because we were both like getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand quick, but like it just felt like pass rush was really good, like really overpowered. But then on like flip side, like we didn't have pass rush, so it's like I'm I don't want to take that away. So it's kind of like, yeah, it was nice to have that because like I just feel like it hasn't been there. But then the next game I played, it felt like it wasn't as much, but it was still there. So I felt like that was good. And I just personally like the DBs are reacting. It's not just like they're sitting watching like catches be made and stuff right in front of their face. So
I love that it's going to, and the goal is to make everything harder because by the time we get to season 4 or 5, let's just call a spade a spade. We've all figured out what works, what doesn't work, and we all avoid what doesn't work to play what works. Like, I don't think that's cheesy. I think it's just the evolution of playing a video game. And so if we can make it really hard for the first 2 or 3 seasons, by the time we get to 4 and 5, then it's more average than it is like what we've seen in the past, where if you're not hanging 50 points against Big Hurt and Cincyberg and Randy and Dwayne, then you ain't going to win. I'd like tuning into these test games and it's 7-3, 14-13. Like, that's exciting to me. Maniac, you've played a ton of games with the least amount of feedback. No, I'm just kidding. Poor Maniac. He always forgets to send me the actual feedback. What are you thinking, Maniac?
Well, I mean, I think it's playing good. I do like the fact it's a love-hate relationship with the DBs, because sometimes like my guys are making good plays, and even being from the standpoint of being on the offensive side, it's nice to see that one thing's not always open. I will say I do have a love-hate relationship with it, though, because I'm like, man, and again, I'm a comical guy, but I'm all like, look at the DB just like ran over my wide receiver to get to the ball, where's the PI, that stuff like that. So there is some of those things like that, but I think it's just the way the game's going to be kind of looking for as well, how the graphics interact with each other, the animations and stuff. But I think probably the best thing that I've found so far is the defensive side of the ball. I think it's like, to me, I think it's playing like really good. As far as the user aspect, I think it's you do have a good feel of being rewarded if you're in the right position. If you're out of position, you're going to get burnt. You're going to get toasted. But I think offense, again, some games we've played, like Kurt was saying, a lot of pass rush, hardly no time, but we don't have a lot of sacks because I think we kind of programmed ourselves like 3 Maddens ago, just get rid of the ball quick, throw it, and even if it's batted down or falls flopping over to the side or whatever. So guys will do that to avoid the sack at all costs. A lot of times, sometimes it doesn't pay off for you because you will get it picked off. But I think overall, though, I think it's felt good. I think that we're in the right track on the sliders. And I know, like you said, it's best to have it playing hard now because like when these guys get it figured out, the rest of us are all going to be can't do nothing, but they can do it all.
I've been screaming from the mountaintops. I told the board today I'm begging for people to test. I'm very upfront. I've got 16 hours or so of testing. If you add in last night, I'm probably closer to 20 hours of testing. It looks like I'm now.
Don't forget about the night that you simmed like a season or two for like 2 hours, then realized that it wasn't even.
That I wasted time. Yeah, because the settings had gotten reset. I'm looking like I'm blowing cocaine over here because I blew my nose and tissues all over my face. Anyway, everything's going to be harder. Regression's going to be tough. Progression's going to be hard. Rookies are going to be much, much lower. They're still going to be good. They're still going to be impactful. But the day of like a rookie coming in and winning OMFL MVP and Offensive Rookie of the Year and 200 catches and an X Factor after one season, it's gone. Those days are going to be gone, including the gameplay. Running is supposed to be harder. I had a good conversation because I want the feedback. I purposely, if Randy's still here, I purposely didn't respond a ton back. If you guys send me feedback, I'm just saying thanks for the feedback. Keep it coming because I want it. And I don't want to make a case in the middle of testing of what I want to see. But Randy says, I feel like if I do a perfect meter throw, it should be perfect every time. I don't agree with that. If you have a low rated quarterback that has low ratings, even if he hit a perfect throw, he may not make it for you. And that's the reason we don't play on competitive. That's the reason we don't allow the placement and power where it doesn't look at ratings at all. I think even if you make all the right reads and you have a crappy quarterback, you're going to have bad throws. And I think even with great quarterbacks, because I've got messages from Joker and others about games with great quarterbacks, you're still going to have some missed throws. Drew Brees led the NFL with like 3 seasons of 70% completion percentage. Almost no other quarterback's ever done that, but yet it's pretty common occurrence here in the OMFL of like 68 to 75%. Dwayne, right? Like, you guys like 80%, 90% every game, it feels like. So we're trying to not only more mimic closer what we see, but we're also trying to make it harder because we are playing on All Pro. Have to make All Pro harder. That's the only reason we ever went to All Madden. And I know that's a trigger subject for my good buddy Big Hurt, who was like, I got to get out of here. You guys suck not playing on All Madden. We're trying to make it harder. It's supposed to be harder. So, yeah, know that the way you feel today before we even get going is not how you're going to feel in Season 3, Season 5, whenever we've played this game a ton. So, I can't wait. I got a lot of ton. My goodness, y'all. This medicine's killing me. I have a lot of ideas to run by the board. They probably will poop on all of them, but it's okay. My idea is to control things in a new, different way. So, hint, hint, you may not get custom playbooks this year. That's something I'm playing with. And I'm going to open up the offense a little bit and the defense to allow more adjustments, but no audibles, there's some things. I'm not going to let them all out of the bag, but we're going to make it easier, hopefully easier to remember about what you can and can't do. And I do like how the game is playing. All right, final thoughts on Madden 27.
Hey, Nate, on that one thing, I really like what you said there, and I want to like reiterate it to the voice of the league. I feel like if we had it to where you make a pass and you hit the button right every single time, like no quarterback, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, we can bring out the best of the best. They don't make a perfect pass every single time. So I think it's if we start seeing that, then it's just like, what's the point of like playing the game? Because that's not sim. And I think if it's down to a button, like the timing, the read, everything that takes the football out of it. So I think like it's important to remember that not even the best and the elite players, baseball, football, basketball, make every shot, make contact every at bat, make a perfect pass or catch every ball. Like even the greatest receivers, Jerry Rice has drops. So like we need to keep that in mind. But obviously those guys should have less, drops or less imperfect passes than a guy like, and I wouldn't say Bo Nix is a low rated. I think he maybe got, snuffed a little bit, but I just don't think we need to be saying like a perfect pass every single time should be a perfect pass.
Or a perfect catch, right? Like there should be those, he's wide open, he beat his man, and he just drops it. Like we've all watched football where that happens on third down. You're like, oh my God, this is my best player. Why did he drop the ball? It happens, right? I'm not saying it should happen more times than not. Meter,
because I feel like the low-rated cat, like if you get a guy that's like 6'3" or 6'4", and you're great at timing the button, you can go up and catch a ball over not like a 5'11", 95 overall corner, all based on the timing of a meter. Like, yeah, that's, there's a size thing there, but at the same time, like that's a low, like 70, 75 overall receiver going up against a 90 overall corner. That corner is going to have better position and everything every single time. Like the size thing, should they catch the ball some of the time? Maybe on the size thing, but like we're not looking at like Randy Moss going up against a top corner. We're talking like a guy that barely makes a squad, and he's just not going to get off the line or run a great route, and if we're just coming down to like a pushing a button to time the catch, like that's not really like football in my eyes.
Randy in the chat, I was going to say too, Maniac and Hurt, I both told you, the more he talks, the closer he gets to that camera. We're back to all forehead and nose. That's where we're at. See, now I see you. Now I see you. Randy says, I was talking about Anthony Richardson to Nate yesterday. Totally. I would definitely don't disagree with you guys' point. And I don't disagree with you, Randy. I think it's just different perspectives. Like, it's okay that we don't see it exactly the same way. But I think using Anthony Richardson as a perfect example. He's a trash NFL quarterback. As talented as he is, he can't play in the NFL because he just can't throw the ball. And so I think that's when you see an Anthony Richardson becoming OMFL MVP, it should tell you that something ain't quite adding up. Randy said, my point is with the meter, it moves faster, guys, making it harder to get accurate passes. Totally. I just don't know that it's so much different. Like that meter's so different. Also depends on what setting you're using, because if you're using placement, the meter doesn't move all that. It's not different. So if that meter were like a kicker, like closer to like it's super fast for low rated quarterbacks, and it gets much slower with higher rated quarterbacks, then I think we'd have something to really look at. I just don't know that we're quite there yet. I'm also not shutting it down. I think we should continue to have the conversation. I did bump up quarterback accuracy, so it got one more point. I don't know if we're going to stay there, but I'm taking the feedback and I'm showing that I'm listening, and I think it's a fun conversation, and we just see it slightly different, but I think we all agree with each other as well. All right, we're going over to Tim for OMFL News. When we get back, guys, we're making a tier list. We're going to tier out teams that are either easy to win with in Madden, great to try to win with, average to win with, bad, or totally avoid these teams at all costs. Tim.
OMFL News, Coach Tim here. It's Madden 27 time. And to get us kick-started, I put together a list of my 2 teams that I would like to be and 2 teams that I would not like to be in Madden 27. As far as the teams that I like, start us off with the New England Patriots. Young stars and capable of being contenders every season of the cycle. The other team is the Chicago Bears, an explosive offense with only a few weak spots on defense.
How can you say that?
Colin might regret giving up the Bears. As far as the teams that I don't like, the New York Jets. I don't even know where you begin on this team. That team just looks like it needs everything. Same with the Arizona Cardinals. Hard to know what direction the team is going. They do have a running back in Jeremiah Love and Trey McBride, but that's pretty much it on this team. So, anyway, what are your thoughts? Now back to Nate and Maniac with Press Pass Live.
Love it, Tim. Appreciate Tim and Joker and we ain't had a Tony Bono in a minute, but all the guys who help. I miss Denbrew. Wish Denbrew would make some again. Hopefully we twist his arm. Fellas, let's get over here and talk about a tier list. So again, we play 5 seasons in the OMFL, so we're looking at these teams in Madden. How would you like to use them over 5 seasons to ultimately win a championship? How would you rate them? Easy, great, average, bad, avoid. We're just going to go through them in order here. You guys butt in, make your cases. I'm sure we'll talk on top of one another, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Arizona Cardinals, I will be honest up front and tell you that I know where I'd like to place them. But what gives me pause is what Maniac did with them last year. Maniac, you guys know how I feel about this fella. He poops on himself all the time. I get tired of cleaning up his diapers. But what he did with the Arizona Cardinals was crazy good before he moved on to a different team and left Smash, a really good team that Smash continued to win with. That's what gives me pause. Where are you putting the Arizona Cardinals? Maniac.
I'm putting them in the average. I think they're average, slightly possibly in the great area, but I think average is a good spot for this team for me.
Why?
I think they do have some good pieces to build around. I do think that probably the main area that needs some help is they've got a couple of good young offensive linemen, but there's a couple that are old and they need some help there. Quarterback situation is not real clear. And then the defensive side, I think they got a good young secondary. A lot of guys that have good speed. I think you can build around those guys, but linebackers are lacking. The linebackers that they do have are kind of getting older. And then your front 7, again, you got some good pieces like with Walter Nolan. But again, I think there's a lot that still needs to be adjusted to get them in that great area. But I think they're a good average team to build around. So.
Yeah, we got 32 teams. If we spend 5 minutes on each of these teams, we'll be here for 7 hours. Hurt, I'm going to put them at bad, so you make the case exactly where we're going to put them, only because of the quarterback situation. I feel like you can find a running back anywhere. You can find wide receivers anywhere. you can rebuild a team. I do think their offensive line is decent. There's some pieces on defense, but without a quarterback, that team ain't going nowhere fast. Are you muted? I think you're muted.
My bad, I had it muted there. I would have them in a void just because they have no quarterback play. Yes, you can get a quarterback, but I think with the conversation of making things more difficult and building a quarterback, maybe that's not going to be as easy. They don't need just a quarterback. They need DBs, they need linebackers, they need receivers. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. is good, but I don't think he's elite. I think he has potential. But outside that, they really don't have a whole lot. Trey McBride is the one bright side, but like honestly, by the time you build anything around him, he's at 26 years old. He's going to be pushing 30. The regression's going to hit. Like I'd have to probably consider moving him. The offensive line is okay. A couple of the better guys are older, or like in their prime now. So like, I just feel like the guys that you would have to put on a winning team are either in their prime or would be past that with aggression, building a quarterback, building all the pieces to go with it. The only really bright side is you get a pretty elite player in Jeremiah Love. But I would have them in a void if it was me.
I'm going bad. Maniacs average. Hurts going to void. We'll keep them at bad right in the middle. Atlanta Falcons, I think they're a great Madden team. Penix easily buildable, playable in Madden. You got to get used to a lefty, but outside of that, pretty good, above average offensive line, great running back, great tight end, one great receiver, some other pieces that you can build around. Defenses has some playmakers, especially in the back four. I think they're a great team. Big Hurt, what do you think about the Falcons?
I would put them as a great team, especially in the hands of Zoe. I think this team's going to explode this year, but I just think a couple imports in the right places, this team's like could compete right away. They got an elite running back. You've got a solid receiver in Drake London, not the fastest, but definitely can catch the ball. You put another receiver there. Like that's elite. Kyle Pitts is Madden cheat code in a way. And then, like you said, defensively, they got a couple young edge rushers. They got the one linebacker, Diabo, who's pretty good. Channing Tindall's athletic. We know what that brings in Madden. AJ Terrell's an elite corner, and Bates and Xavier Watts in the back end. This team has a few pieces. I don't think that they're ready right away, but with the imports and a trade or something like that, this team's definitely ready and could be good for a while. So I would put them in a great status.
For me, the Falcons, I think, are I'm going to put them. Maybe I'm going to be the average guy, but I'm going to put them in the average because I feel like they've got really some good pieces. But one thing that playing these games has shown anything, offensive line is going to be important. Defensive line is going to be important. Their D tackles, especially if you're running 3-4, they have some horrible D tackles in this team. And then their offensive line, the interior of the offensive line, they've got one guy that's 93, but he's 93 overall, but he's like 29, old. And then their left tackle is 34. You guys replace him, and then the guys they've got in the backups of those are not good at all. So they're going to struggle. If you can't block your quarterback, he can't get the ball to the wide receivers, no matter how good they are. And then if they can't block for your running back, no matter how good he is, they're not going to do very good as well. So I'm just going to put the Falcons in that average spot.
Baltimore Ravens, if the goal is to win a championship, I'm going to put them in easy. I think they have all kinds of talent, all kinds of playmakers. Getting old in certain spots, but if you're just trying to win a championship, I think they're an easy team. Maniac.
Lamar Jackson. Just run with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I think he's the X factor, tongue in cheek there. So they've got really good players all around. And again, I think if you're going to win out of the box, they're one of the teams that you'd probably easily have the better chance to win out of the box. So go Ravens, win a championship.
based on what you said earlier, you said that we're placing these for the entire cycle. I would say for the first season, maybe 2, we'd put them in easy or great. I think for the entire cycle, I'm going to land in probably average just because of the age that we have. Derrick Henry, Lamar's at 29. You got most of Zay Flowers is there, but they don't really have a whole lot receiver besides then. Mark Andrews, a lot of their offensive line, even their defensive line, Roquan Smith, they're all like high 20s or into their 30s. And I think you're going to have just a whole lot of guys that you're going to have contracts with because these guys are in their prime or in the back, last payday. They're going to want a ton of money. Again, the first season or 2, definitely easy or a great team to go get a championship with. But I think, season 3, 4, 5, probably going to be in a major rebuild. So I'd probably say I'd probably put them in an average spot.
Buffalo Bills, of course, you got Josh Allen. We've talked a lot about the quarterbacks already. You got a good running back, some fairly average pieces at wide receiver. I'll put them at great, but I could easily be talked into average. You guys talk me into where we should put them. Big Hurt.
The Bills, I think, are a team that I would probably put in the great spot. I'm not in love with their receivers. And it just kind of depends. They're in Joker's hands. He's going to go find a speedy guy. I just don't know, and I haven't seen it enough yet. And time will tell how easy it is to go get that fast, speedy receiver and how that is able to just plug and play into this type of game. But you've got the quarterback and then the running back is there. I think they got a couple younger tight ends that I do like. And then defensively, there's pieces there that you could build with. And they're not super old. They've kind of revamped the defense from a couple years ago when it was elite. So I would say they're probably in a great status, not a ton of holes. And you got the key pieces there. A couple imports, like I said, for sure. I know Joker's bringing a receiver there, but yeah, I think this team is in place to win and be good for the cycle.
Yeah. I would probably leave them in great also. I was fucking through their roster. They definitely got some areas where they need to improve on. Offensive line is not all that great, to be honest. So it's all going to have to be left on Josh Allen. Their linebacker core is kind of weak as well. They've got a couple of decent guys, but they're not really solid up front either. You know what? I'm changing as I'm just looking through this. I'm going average. I just can't see this team. They got some really good cornerbacks and got a great running back and a great quarterback, but that's all I'm seeing on this team is super great right now. So I don't know. I'm going average now.
I'm pretty sure Maniac said flucking, and he threw me for a loop. Did anybody else hear him say, instead of flipping through their roster, I heard him say flucking, and I was like, did he just cuss? I don't know what just happened there. Carolina, guys, you're going to have to talk me into this one. I'm putting them at average, and here's why. Because I could see you being great, because they definitely have some pieces, especially in Madden. I could see them being bad, because there's definitely some holes in this team. I'm going to fall in the middle of average. I think in Bird's hands, they're going to be great. They've definitely got some key cornerstone pieces on defense, a lot of athleticism. I don't know. I'm going to put them at average. Maniac, talk me one way or the other.
What little bit that I've played against them in the test games and stuff, man, their secondary is like a beast to get around. And that's from safeties, cornerbacks, the linebackers. They just seem like they're all over the place. And now they got Devin Lloyd in the middle, so that's just an absolute insane defense. And then they got Derek Brown, and then now they got Bobby Brown next to him as well. Both those guys are pretty strong guys in the middle of the defense. Just their defense alone, I think, makes them in that average area. And then they have a nice young roster to build around, mostly, especially like your athletic guys and stuff. They're all young and able to do a lot of things. I think the offensive line is getting a little old in a lot of areas, but If they do it right, they can build around that. But I'm keeping them there in the average. I think they're still a really good team. You could bump them up to great as well. But just for the simple fact of youth.
I think for me, I'd land them in the average. Just that's what they are, is about a 500 ball club, in my opinion. I think, like you said, in Bird's hands, I could see this team bumping up to the great slot. They got a lot of good pieces, a couple good edge rushers that are young. JC Horn's an elite corner. I actually played with him, and he was amazing to play with. Tatoria McMillan, the receiver, is going to be a problem. Obviously, we know what Bird can do with the running backs. As long as they got a good juke move and some shiftiness, he'll find a way to be good. Bryce Young, he'll build them up, or he'll bring a quarterback into that roster somehow. I think the things that worry me for putting them in a great spot is the holes that you have now make you kind of in a rebuild process, but you have good cornerstone players. And like, how quick can you get those pieces in play to make them for an entire cycle? I think what probably holds them into the average place for me.
I muted myself so you didn't hear me coughing and sneezing and doing all the stuff I'm doing. Chicago Bears Smash says Bears are bad. Who on that team scares you? I don't know that they're bad because you have Caleb Williams. I think you have some pieces on defense. I'm not going to sit here and act like an expert. Maniac's got the CFM up, so he's checking them out. I'm going to stick them at average. I'm going to let you guys talk me out of moving them up or down. Mr. Big Hurt, Chicago Bears.
I think the Bears are a great team. Not like from out of the box standpoint, but for a cycle to be good with. You've got an elite quarterback that you don't have to progress with. He's going to be there the whole cycle. He's got mobility. You got some depth at the running back spot, and then Swift with the lead back. He's got some shiftiness, but Monagai and the rest of the crew there got some power and some ability to bring in that can have good trucking and like power run. But you got a good young receiving core in Adunes and Burden and Xavion Thomas. Like, there's some speed there, but there's also some size as well. So you got a good mixture of youth and everything. Colston Loveland is a really good tight end, and then Cole Kmet is also another decent blocking and receiving tight end. I think the offensive line needs some work, but defensively, this team has pieces. I think the defense is where I would be focused at because the linebackers that you have are old. The corners aren't bad, but Jalen Johnson's speed and Kyler Gordon's speed kind of worry me. How well that's going to play in this Madden, I don't know. But I think that Dylan Thieneman, the rookie safety out of Oregon, I think he's going to be a real good player, and he's got the attributes to make him a really good player. So I think there's everything you need on offense. You focus on defense, and this team could be pretty elite. So I'd put them in the great spot for the cycle.
I'm going to go with great as well. I think just coming out of the box, I think the one area I think is going to be what's going to be lacking coming straight out of the box is the inexperience of your wide receiver core. And though there is some really good wide receivers there, don't get me wrong, but if you look at their ratings, they're not rated really well. And I think we're seeing a lot of the stuff like with the catching and stuff like that, catching traffic. I think those guys lack all that stuff, and you're going to have to really start trying to build that immediately on your offense. And your offensive line is getting old, so you're gonna have to start rebuilding. But again, out of the box, try to win right away. I think they're a great team to get that done because there is a lot of good pieces there on defense and offense.
Wow. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and the only other thing, contract-wise, though, after the first year, because I think Williams is going to be coming up for a contract, so you may have to shell out the change.
Yeah, I still think they're average, but I see why you guys are making the case. The Cincinnati Bengals, man, I'm going to start them at easy. You help me move them down. I just think anytime you got Burrow and Chase and the running backs and the receivers, that offensive line, the defense has got playmakers in the hands of Denbrew. I think they're going to be a pretty easy team for him. Doesn't mean you will, but I think Denver will have an easier shot at winning a championship with the Bengals. Maniac, talk me out of that.
Well, I think the only reason why I think that I can see it takes them out of the great, or out of the easy, puts them into great, is because the offensive line. You've got older offensive linemen, and they're not very good overall. And then the ones that you do have that are young are pretty average. So I think that's where your problems are going to exist up front. If you can't block for all those guys, you're going to have to come up with a good offensive scheme, get the ball out of the hands of Joe Burrow quickly. I think defensively, though, they've got a lot of young pieces, especially at the edge, that are looking pretty good to build around. And then you got anytime you got Dexter Lawrence the second, the big man in the middle, that's a great piece to have there. And he's still got, a few years in him to be a really dominant player in Madden. I just think that offensive line, though, looking at the rest of their team, if their offensive line was like even slightly better, I think they go in that easy column right away. But that offensive line is atrocious.
For me, this is a tough one because I actually do like the Bengals roster a lot. I'm a huge Burrow and Jamar Chase fan, and I think Dexter Lawrence is going to be an absolute animal for them. I don't like their offensive line. I don't like their linebackers. Their secondary, I do like Brian Cook, the way he plays, but their corners, they've got speed and they've got athletic ability, but I'm not in love with them either. And their edge rushers, Cassius Howe could be good, but needs, obviously young. He needs to progress a little bit. They also got Shamar Stewart, who's another young guy. But they're just gonna need to work. They're gonna need time. And so I think this what puts me with the amount of work that needs to be put in outside of the receivers and Joe Burrow and probably Dexter Lawrence. I would put them in the average category for right now. But I think this team, if you can manage the contracts, because Burrow and Chase are such big contracts, and Dexter Lawrence, if you can manage the contracts, which I know Koch will probably do well, then they could easily be considered a great team. But I just think the money and the amount of pieces that are needed around that supporting cast, or that cornerstone pieces to have the supporting cast to fill out the roster, I think that would put them as an average team in my book.
Well, you got Denver running them now. I think Denver would do a great chance with them. We also got to go a little bit quicker here, y'all. I got to finish before supper, and we're 40 minutes deep. We still got every team left, plus all the big old mailbag. I have no clue what to do with this next team, the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to stick them at average, but I got to tell you, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to let you guys talk me one way out or the other of moving them down. I don't see them going up, but maybe you guys can make the case. Big Hurt.
I got them in bad. There's too many pieces that I think this team needs. Receiver, quarterback, a couple of the guys that are there could be, valuable. Offensive line isn't great. Defense has some pieces in Jared Verse, but they don't have Myles Garrett. So Schlesinger, the young rookie linebacker last year, played well, and Ward. But again, Ward just got paid and he's almost 30 years old. So I got him in a bad, but I think in the right hands, they could revamp this roster. And, I could see whether it's Koch or Denver. I think Denver's, but whoever it is, I could see them making this team a team to compete with at the end of the cycle, but it'll be probably year 4 or 5 before I think this team's ready to compete.
I think you are right. Is Denver back in Cleveland now? I got that backwards, don't I?
I think Denver was Cincinnati last year,
You're right.
And so he's going to Cleveland this year.
I had it backwards. Mr. Maniac, what do you think about the Browns?
Bad team. Really, just for the simple fact, their quarterback situation. I mean, that's as bad as you can get. 269 overalls for your best quarterback, and then what you got to back them up is not very good. They got some pieces, but that quarterback situation, Again, I don't think their offensive line is really that great. A good team, I think, later on in the cycle. A good team to build with, but not one to win out of the box.
Dallas Cowboys, I'm moving them up to easy. I'm probably skewed because it's Dwayne, but that roster feels like somebody on the inside loves the Dallas Cowboys. You guys can talk me out of moving them down because they're at the tippy top for me, Mr. Maniac. Sounds like an impossible task for a fan.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, especially since they do have them rated really good. I think I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I think, again, their weaknesses are probably, if you can call it a weakness, is the linebackers. Still, they're not really great overall. They do have some good pieces there that can be built, but right out of the box. And I think there's a lot of questions at the cornerback situation as well. Got some solid guys, but I don't think you have like the shutdown guy within Madden. But the offense is there. And like you said, you put it in Dwayne's hands. I think probably the worst overall team could probably be a championship ready with Dwayne. So I'll just leave them there with the easy.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. The Cowboys, not to be a homer and whatnot, I think they're an easy team. They've got everything you need. The only thing you have to worry about is replacing Dak at some point in the first probably 2 years, and then managing those contracts. The defense is young. Lots of playmakers. Offense has everything you need.
Denver Broncos, I'm going to start them out at great. Again, maybe slightly skewed because of the owner. I just feel like that team has all the pieces that you want to start to try to win a championship. They're long-term play and a team that you can win from with day one. Denver Broncos, Mr. Hurt, what do you think about?
I got them in the easy. Bo Nix, young up-and-coming quarterback. The running backs are dime a dozen. You can find and plug and play anybody there. But Dobbins and Harvey are usable. The receiving core is good. Offensive line's pretty solid, and the defense has got playmakers from the edge to linebackers to probably the top two cornerback in the league. And the safeties are strong. This team is great and a top team. If I had to pick a team in the thing and you put them in Randy's hands, watch out, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say that this is a great team. Gonna leave them where they're at there. I mean, you got some good pieces. Really, truly, honestly, it comes down to the owner with this type of team. But if I was using this team, it would probably be in the average column. But he is going to have to manage some contracts, I think. But man, Patrick Surtain Jr. out there, man, on the edge, that's a big piece to shut down one side of the field for you. So I'm gonna leave him there on the great.
Detroit Lions, I could easily move them up to easy. I'm going to start them off at great. You guys can help me move them up or down or leave them where they are. I just think the quarterback situation long-term is what keeps me from putting them in easy. But, man, they have every playmaker that you could possibly want. And Tim has got a great team to be able to play with. Mr. Maniac, what do you think about the Lions?
Again, for early on, I think they're an easy team to win out of the box with. I mean, they've got all the pieces. Quarterback, yeah, Goff is 31. You can probably get 2 seasons out of him, maybe 3, depending on what happens in Madden. But, I mean, all the rest, I mean, you talk about Gibbs, 98 speed running back. And then Pacheco behind him, 93 speed running back. And then you got all kinds of speed at wide receiver and tight end. I mean, the offense is just like a racing team, man. Everybody's got wheels. But I just think the contracts, and again, I think it's one thing that always, like we've talked about with the Lions the last 2 Maddens, is contracts. That's what you got to manage. So, but I would leave them there at great.
I think the Lions, for me, fall in the great spot. Not easy because of the contracts. And you're going to have a lot of these younger guys that are like 23 to 26 are going to want to get paid off. And that's just, you're going to lose some of them at some point. And obviously Goff, is getting paid. And But yeah, right out of the box, first year, so this team is everything you want, everything you need: speed, speed, speed. And even the offensive line, they've got some young guys like Penasuel, who's an elite tackle at 25. You got a couple other guys there on the line that are solid, that are in their mid 20s. You got strong defensive playmakers on through at every level. Hutchinson, you got Campbell, and then you've got the two safeties that are just elite. So I would put them in a great spot.
Green Bay Packers, average at best, in my opinion. I don't get it. I don't see it. I could easily move them down when it comes to Madden. Talk me out of it, Mr. Big Hurt.
I would say they're somewhere between, if there was between a great and an average. I think from real life, this team is probably average. But I think for Madden, I'd probably slide them maybe even towards the great spot, just because Jacobs and Lloyd is a good combo at running back, or running back. Love is usable, and then you've got quite a bit of speed at the receiver spot. They're not very high end, but like we know what Priest can do with a lot of speed, and so and then Tucker Kraft is a pretty elite tight end. Offensive line worries me about this team, and that's why I think I'd probably land them on the average spot. But defensively, you've got Parsons and you got other guys on this defense that like McKinney and stuff that can help out. And so I would say I would land them again average because of their line, but I could argue maybe slightly upwards towards great, depending on what kind of moves you make throughout the cycle.
Just for to be different, I'm gonna say great. I really think they've got some good pieces. Everybody's within range. I think on their defensive side, they're not a whole lot of older guys everywhere. I mean, they do have some older guys, but I think they do have enough youth that are also rated pretty well overall to start out. And then you got 4 wide receivers on this team that's like 94 speed and above. So I do think they're a great team to start off with in Madden 27. Just got to be able to manage the cap.
Houston Texans, I think they're a bad team to try to win a championship with over a 5-game cycle. Yeah, there's some defensive players there, maybe a few small offensive linemen that aren't, too bad, but they're getting older. Hate the quarterback situation. A couple of aging receivers that have some playmaking ability. I'm just not seeing it. Maniac, talk me out of where they should go. Bad, average, avoid, up to great. Am I just totally missing this one?
No, I don't. I may even like make a call to put them down in a void, but I don't know. I don't really see. I mean, there's some good pieces on defense, but offense is what scares me because there's like, you got a bunch of old offensive linemen. I think you got one guy that's like 20, and then everybody else is like 31 and older. And then your tight end, he's 30. Wide receivers are all getting kind of long in the tooth, and then the younger ones that you have are not very athletic at all. So it just feels like this team is just not built real well for the Madden game, and I think it's probably going to prove that because, I mean, even again, running backs, 87 speed, 88 speed. I mean, they're just everybody's slow as Christmas. And CD Stroud, again, he's 24, but we've all heard that about this arm strength and stuff. So I just think it's an avoid.
Yeah, for me, I would say they're probably a bad team. I like Nico and Tank Dell, obviously coming off the injury he had. He's got his rating down a little bit. Stroud didn't have the strongest year. Offensive line's bad. Defensively, outside of Will Anderson in their secondary, pretty bad and pretty atrocious. Too many holes, too many things to worry about, in my opinion. Don't have enough to hang your hat on. And I think once you get to the point where you feel like you're getting pieces there, to put around the guys that are there. Again, Nico Collins is 27. He's going to be on his way out. And then like the secondary, they're set right now, but then you got to worry about paying those guys. So then it's just there's too much for me so I'd put them in kind of a bad to avoid spot as well.
I'm going avoid with the Colts. I think we're going back-to-back avoid teams here. Yeah, you do have Anthony Richardson, and that's what makes me. I'm going to talk myself out. I'm going to put them at bad. Yeah, maybe you can build him up. We've seen what Randy did with the Colts. You do have an aging but still very good running back. I don't know, man. I'll put them at bad just because of the potential over a 5-cycle season or a 5-season cycle. You got to talk me one way or the out. Big Hurt, I'll give this one to you.
I think Old Timer is going to excel because he likes to pound the rock with Jonathan Taylor. And then Tyler Warren, the tight end to complement the run game, is going to be nice. Offensive line right now is pretty solid, but the guys that are good are old. Outside that, I think this team's bad. The pieces that are good, like Buckner and Grover Stewart on the defensive side, are old. They got Sauce, who's good, but like outside that, they really don't have much that's good on defense. That's worthy of the cycle. Everybody's going to be like a 1-year done trade retirement type of thing. And again, the offensive line's there, but you're going to have to replace him. And then Jonathan Taylor's on the back end of his contract as a running back. Do you pay him? Probably not. You got to worry about building a quarterback. Too much for me. Too much of a headache. Put him in the bad spot. Probably even avoid, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna put them down and avoid as well. I know the quarterback situation with Richardson, but again, I don't know exactly how well they're going to be able to progress them, because with all the new stuff that we're doing with progression, this guy's already 24. I mean, we're talking about you get into the next season, 25, 26 is kind of where these things start really slowing down. So I just don't see it. There's a lot of older guys across this. I think probably the best part of this team is the defensive side. I think there's except for defensive tackle, you've got a lot of younger pieces. You got Sauce Gardner. I think that's probably where your strength is. I think the weakness is your offense, except for the running back. And so you probably can compete with a good quarterback first year. After that, you're going to have to make some changes. So that's the reason why I put them in void.
We got a long way to go, and we're already at the hour mark. I'm telling you, Maniac and I have noticed once we hit an hour, all these numbers drop in half. Everybody's got to go after an hour. Jaguars, you guys are going to have to talk me out of this one. Sneaky great team. That's right. I'm putting them up there with great. I think you have the Madden quarterback. You have the Madden running back. A good enough offensive line. Some playmakers at wide receiver. Yes, you lost some defensive pieces, but I think you've got enough to get by with. I'm going great with this one, Maniac.
I'm gonna go and make it easy for you. I'm going in the easy spot with this team because they were really good last Madden, and we've seen what Hurt did with them early on. They're better rated this time around. Still a lot of young guys on the squad, good players across the board, and I think they're ready to be competitive out of the box. And yeah, you're going to have to make some tough choices with some actual contracts later on, but I think the pieces are there for them to compete early. I think the problem is the defense. The defense side is the older side of the ball, but man, I feel like it's easier to draft good defensive guys on the side of the ball in Madden games. So
I'm going to go kind of back to where I had the Panthers between average and great, just because I think great, if things pan out well, like Tootin is amazing. I love like that. If I could get any player on my team this year, it'd be Tootin. I wish I could have him back. But I obviously progressed him with obviously Nice started it, but then I progressed him into like an absolute animal. And then also like Caleb Ransaw, this free safety was like an elite safety for me with progression. So I think with those two things, the loss of Devin Lloyd, the aging DN that they have, Josh Hines Allen, he's 29. Like that's just another year that, they don't have great corners. Travis Hunter, I think, could be great. But outside that, they don't really have another corner. Offensive line was decent, but I had to piece that together last year. I do like the receivers. Parker Washington, somebody I didn't get to play with last year, and I wish I could have because I do like him as a player. But Brian Thomas is elite. So I would say average, but could be easily a great team for me. Just some of the pieces I really liked last year, obviously guys that I took from being a low 70 to a 90 plus, or Devin Lloyd, who's probably one of my favorite players, isn't even on the roster anymore.
I think we're slowing down as I say we need to speed up. So let's reverse engineer this. Y'all can slow down. You can give me more in-depth thoughts. We'll see if they go faster. Kansas City, I'm going to put them in easy. Anytime you got Mahomes and the speed at receiver and running backs, I know that defense probably needs some help. Offensive line probably needs a little help. I just think that they're an easy Madden team to try to win a championship with. Talk me out of it, Big Hurt.
Easy team to win a championship for the cycle. I'm going to put them as a great team just because you got to manage the money with all those speedy receivers, Kenneth Walker running back, the defensive pieces, Patrick Mahomes contract, even the offensive line, Simmons and Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. They're going to want to get paid. Carl Aftis. There's a lot of guys that are going to want a payday there, but they definitely have everything you need to be an elite team. So I would say easy for roster standpoint, great for roster and having to manage the contracts.
Are you muted?
He is muted.
You're muted. I couldn't tell. He's so small on my screen. I couldn't tell if he was talking or not.
So that's one way to get me shut up. But Patrick Mahomes, he's 30, so he's going to be great for a couple seasons, but he's going to fall off. You got to get his replacement. Definitely got some older guys on defense in a lot of areas. So I think it could be easy, but I feel like it's kind of great to average for me.
You guys make a good case. Los Angeles Chargers. I have no clue. I don't know where to put them. There's a couple playmakers. I don't know that roster like the back of my hand or anything. I'm sticking them at average. You guys can talk me out of where you would put them. Mr. Maniac, take this one.
Quickly, just looking at the roster, I mean, you see strong safety, free safety, and cornerback. Their top guys are all 30 plus. So that right away, and then your Mike linebacker 33. I mean, so there's a lot of older guys on defense. So first season probably going to be really good. Second season you're going to have to really rebuild. And I don't know if it's like for the long haul for the cycle. I think the offense is probably where the most value is at this roster. So I would leave them at average to bad.
I'm going to stick him in the average slot just because the defensive side needs work. I think the offense is there for the cycle. And I think I wish they were still in San Diego, by the way, but that's a side point. But yeah, the receiver's good, running back's good, quarterback there. Offensive line's not bad. It's just the defense that needs work. They do have some playmakers, but like Maniac said, they're going to be close to 30 and on. So they're not going to be there for long. So I would say average team.
Rams, I want to put them in easy, but you guys made a great case for Kansas City, so I'll stick them at great. You can talk me one way or the other, Mr. Big Hurt.
Roster-wise, to win a championship, easy, if that was even possible. But I'll stick them in the great slot just because Asian quarterback. I think Ty Simpson could be easy, plug and play as well. You got decent running backs there that are younger. Nakua is a stud for the cycle. Offensive line's not horrible, and the defense is there. If they get Aaron Donald, this is going to be probably one of the craziest defensive lines I think has ever existed. But Myles Garrett is 30, so you'll have to worry about that at some point. But this roster is built for the cycle. They got the elite corner and McDuffie and Kitchens at safety, and other guys that Byron Young and stuff, they're going to be there for the majority of the cycle. So this team would definitely is a great team.
Can you imagine Joker with that defensive line maniac?
Don't make me cuss.
It's too late. You already did when you were talking about that other team a while ago.
Man, this team is I don't know. I want to put them in the easy so bad. I mean, we're talking about just winning a championship. So I mean, coming out of the box, you get the best team that there is on defense. I mean, by far, and then offensively, you've got so many pieces already ready to roll. So if you're able to come out of the box and rolling with this team, you should be able to get a championship with this team. I can already hear Bill going, but I was just
let's not forget Bill's defensive ability with that team is kind of scary.
Yeah, I played him and he whipped the snot out of me in our test game, and that was only like a few days ago. So I think Bill's going to be sneaky, and he may get him his first trophy.
Bill's our version of Bad Santa. Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to stick them at average. I could go one way or the other. Thornton and that running back, Genty, is what gives me pause of not moving them down lower. I think there are some pieces. Mr. Maniac, where are you putting the Raiders?
Raiders, they're kind of the same feel, I think, as some of these other teams. They got some really good pieces. They're young in a lot of areas. They do have quite a bit of youth across the defensive front, except for the defensive line. They are getting a little older, but I think the longevity of this team kind of propels them into great because of what they have at quarterback. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback that is already pretty solid coming out of the gate, and then you got pieces around him to possibly go in at least, I think, like 3 seasons with a really good, decent offensive line, really good wide receivers, tight end that is, exceptional. And then the defense, again, for the first couple of seasons, good. So I think they're average to great, I think, in this Madden. So
I think there's pieces on this team that could argue to make it a great team, but then there's holes in this team that bring them down to like a bad team. So I think average is the right spot. I mean, Mendoza, Genty, some of these other pieces make them arguably a great team. But then, like I said, Max Crosby's gonna be moving on at some point. Dante Thornton at 68 overall is not the Dante Thornton that we saw last Madden, and with the progression, I don't see that happening. Brock Bowers is another piece like with Genty, but not a great defensive line, not a great secondary, and an aging and average offensive line puts them in the average spot to me.
Miami Dolphins, I have them as a void. I'm not going to act like I know all these rosters like the back of my hand, but I think they may have the worst Madden roster that one could ask for. You got to talk me one way or the other, Mr. Hurt.
Well, I can tell you this. They are the worst overall rated team in the game, and the only piece on that team that I would even be interested in is Devon Chain, and then the younger corner that they have in Chris Johnson, who's the rookie. I think he's going to be good. But outside that, I don't really like this team at all. Unfortunately, Massimo went from having one of the most prolific and scariest speed-wise offensive teams with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Devon Chain, and now to having just a chain and nothing. They have no quarterback. They have no offensive line. They have no receivers. They have like a pretty bad defense. So like he's got his hands full in a rebuild, and this is a team I slide in the avoid spot, and I wouldn't even take them if you paid me.
I think this is the equivalent of let's suck for Arch Manning. So I think in real life, they have no quarterback. I mean, I don't even know if you can call that a quarterback. I think they did a disservice by giving Willis a 74 overall. I think it should be probably lower than that, but there's just nothing on this roster. Again, I kind of reiterate what Hurt has said. And if there is anything on here, they're already getting so old, or they're beyond the ability to actually build them in Madden with their progression and stuff. So I avoid the dumpster fire, I think, is what would probably be better for them.
Vikings, I'm putting them at average because of Jetta. Outside of him, maybe a quarterback that you can build, maybe a few other little pieces here and there. It is an uphill battle, could be tipped one way or the other. Gonna talk me out of it, Mr. Maniac.
Well, I mean, McCarthy is young, so at 23, and Madden is not too shabby. He's 71 overall. You can build around him. The running back situation not too great. I think probably where they're really weakest at is the offensive line. They've got some guys that are decently rated, but other guys are kind of overall like okay, but age-wise, they're nothing. So I think there's going to be a lot of rebuilding in this team. But you don't have to worry about the quarterback because you got the quarterback on, and then with the wide receivers. So, but I'm putting them down in the bad area.
The drop-off has begun. We're already down to 7 from 15 that we were at a while ago. Big Hurt, what are you doing with these Vikings?
I slide them in the bad spot, and I hate to say that just because I do have a lot of pieces on this team I do like. I will say Damon Claiborne, the rookie from Wake Forest, is a running back that I really do like. Jordan Mason's something special, could be something special. I like the receivers, Jefferson, Addison, Ty Felton, and Bell and stuff. But outside that, offensive line's not special. Defensive line and linebackers and corners and safeties, they're not bad, but they're like not great. And I just don't feel like this team has championship written on it. I don't like the quarterback play either. So I'd kind of slide them in the bad. And I hate to say that because I do like some of these guys a lot on the team, but there's too much on that team I don't like.
Patriots. Are they easy? I'm going to put them at great. You got the young quarterback. You got some running backs, offensive linemen. There's some really nice pieces there. What do you think about the Patriots, Mr. Hurt?
Easy. Henderson got some love on Madden. His speed at 95, acceleration 92. Obviously, Drake May, 92 after his year last year. They get A.J. Brown right out of the gate as an elite receiver. You got the tight ends with Henry. Offensive line could use a little bit, but they're not horrible. And the defense is there. And this goes back to the other corners argument. Christian Gonzalez or Surtain. Those are the top 2 corners, hands down. And so I this team for me slides into the easy spot. And we'll bring this up later, but I think Lost Sniper is going to have one heck of a cycle.
Maniac, they're dropping like flies over here. Save me. What are you doing with the Patriots?
Yeah, I noticed I was watching. It's just like almost nobody watching. I'm going with easy. I think all the pieces there on offense, even looking at the offensive line, I think everybody on the offensive line is solidly rated and only have one guy that's like 32 and above on age on the offensive line. So I think the offensive line is going to be able to be sustained for a long period of time, which is going to be great for the quarterback. And then the defense is probably where you're really going to have to rebuild after a couple of seasons. But I think the defensive side is easier to build than the offense. For me, I think, and that's where I think the strength is right here. There's a lot of good mix of youth and veterans in the right spots. And I think Lost Sniper is going to have a heyday.
I'm putting my Saints at a void, and the reason is they're in that weird 27 to 29 age range across the board, including the quarterback, the running back, the offensive line got no love, even though I think they're a top 10 unit. They're pretty average at best. There's no young playmakers. There's no one to really build around. I'm going to put them at a void, Mr. Maniac.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to reiterate what you just said, avoid them, because again, there's a lot. I mean, I'm just kind of scrolling as fast as I can, and there's a lot of 26, 29, 30 guys on this team everywhere, and that is just like the death of a Madden squad. Even your first year quarterback's 26, so that's just really tough coming into a squad like this that Madden has not shown any love whatsoever. So it's definitely an avoid team.
I could argue in my mind an average to bad. I do like some of the pieces that you got there, but the key pieces are probably aging, so it probably lands them in the bad spot. But I do like some of the spots that are like receivers that you got. In my opinion, their corner play isn't highly rated, but I do like Zach McKinstry there. But so I would say they're probably on the bad. I think Madden kind of gave them a low end on the rating system a little bit, but with the ratings that they got, I'd put them in the bad spot.
Giants, I'm putting them as a great Madden team to win a championship. Young quarterback, he's mobile, stud receiver, stud running back. Offensive line, I don't know. I wonder how they are. Defense has some pieces, arguably second, third, fourth best defensive line. Mr. Hurt, where are you putting these Giants?
Well, after how bad the Giants have been, sorry to all the Giants fans that we have in here, but after how bad the Giants have been with top pick after top pick after top pick, I would hope they would be good. But with that being said, I think they're probably an average to great team. I love Scattaboo, but I don't know that he's a Madden running back. Dart needs some progression and outside neighbors. I don't like their receivers. Offensive line is the guys that are elite or are good. They're older. Defensively, you lost one of your best players in Dexter Lawrence. But I do like Burns and Carter off the edge. And then you get Arvell Reese, who I think is going to be a stupid Madden player. So that kind of brings the value back up. But corner-wise, I'm not sold on this team. So that's kind of where I argue back and forth. Arvell Reese, Neighbors, Dart, put them in the great spot. Then you talk about the offensive line and, no Dexter Lawrence and no second receiver at all, no cornerback play. To me, I could say they're an average team.
I'm going to put them in the great. I think they got a lot of youth with a lot of good attributes to start off with, and I think they're just going to get better. And when I say youth, I'm talking about like Arvell Reese. Like, he's 21. You can build him up, and I think they got a lot of younger type guys like that. Defense is going to need to be built, but I think in the long run, you got this team that you can really compete early on. And I think it just gets that much better as we go on, and we know what Colin can do with the quarterback and wide receivers. What he's done the last 2-3 Maddens in Chicago, he just absolutely just dominates with those guys. So just give me that as a great team to build in Madden.
Jets, I'm putting them at a void. I think they're the Miami Dolphins with just a hair better talent. I don't see it anywhere. Maniac.
Yeah, the Jets. I mean, in real life, I don't even know if they know who's going to be like really the quarterback. I mean, you got Geno Smith, who's like 40. I think he's like 35, but and like really rated bad. So I mean, that off the bat, you're gonna have to do something there. You're gonna have some quarterback in the wings to take over there, and you might as well just pull off the Band-Aid and get it over with the first season. Start trying to build somebody. They got some pieces, and I think they may be in a little bit better shape than the Saints, just for the simple fact I think they've had more top draft picks in the last few years. So they've got some younger guys to work with, and so I would put them like on the cusp of the bad. But again, I think it's the team to avoid all around. But I think there is some more pieces there than what the Saints have.
I'm going to slide them in the bad spot. I don't think they're an avoid team. I think guys like Pons at the rookie corner, the two tight ends and Taylor and Sadiq, and then the running back and Breece Hall, even the receiver Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell, Omar Cooper. There's pieces to build with this team. Yeah, you need a quarterback. You need obviously offensive line and defensive line. They've got a couple young guys that I really like. David Bailey, the rookie, Tavondre Sweat. They just need to progress. So I think it's time and filling in some holes and letting the young guys work. That if you do well with them, but a lot of it's like the if, and that's why I have them as the bad team.
Bad team with no quarterback, no offensive line, no defensive line. The three most important pieces of a football team. Eagles are a weird Madden team. I'm going to stick them at average. Yes, there's some pieces, but they're getting older. I just don't love the quarterback in Madden. 90% of us are not Zoe and love Twinkie to death, but he ain't Zoe. I think they're just an average team. Mr. Hurt.
I mean, this is not me speaking as a Cowboys fan. I'm taking that factor out, but I don't think that they're a good Madden team or a championship team. I don't like the quarterback play. Barkley's a stud, but he's 29. He's going to regress. Receivers, outside of Mekhi Lemon, I really don't like their receiving core at all. The Dallas Goedert is a really good tight end, but he's 31 years old. Offensive line's olding and aging. Defensive line, you've got some pieces there. But outside that, I'm not really like sold on Cooper DeJean. I like at corner, but he's the only one. And everything else is kind of just average. So I would say probably average at best for me.
Looking over this roster, I'm gonna say they're on the cusp of bad for me, because I mean they've got so many age restricted players. I mean 29 30 offensive line not very good out of the box, and they're just so old. And then you got some younger guys on defense, but again, they went out and spent a lot of money on an older right in and Greenard. Yeah, he's pretty good right now, but I mean he's 29. He's not going to go anywhere up a whole lot. And then they just Jalen Carter is your best guy on defense, and he's a defensive tackle. Everybody else is getting old in the tooth, man. And your quarterback is just not very good, and he's got a pretty hefty contract. So I just think you got to move this team down in the bad.
Steelers, I got them avoid all day. I think they fall into the Miami Jets Saints conversation. I don't see it. I don't see the playmakers. I don't see the age. I don't see it at all. Maniac.
Steelers, again, they're almost kind of like, it's weird that both these teams are from Pennsylvania, and they've almost modeled after each other. They got so many old players. I mean, if your starting quarterback's 42 years old, yeah, he's one season done, and so you might as well just start the rookie, go with the headache, get it all out of the way. Running back is almost 30 years old. And then your wide receivers, your two best wide receivers, are almost 30 years old. It's just a bad situation for the Steelers. Yeah, you may have some success early on, but again, you got a 42-year-old average quarterback. You might as well just cut him and just get ready to roll with the rookie and just rip off the Band-Aid.
Anytime you host your quarterback tryouts at the local nursing home is not a good thing. And I do not think the Steelers roster falls much behind Aaron Rodgers. They are old. They are old. The running back play, like, outside of Caleb Johnson, but he's their third best running back, like, overall wise, and he's not greatly like gifted on Madden ratings. I think Jeremy Bernard and Roman Wilson are okay from speed wise, but like nothing from catching, nothing that I would go after and get. DK's old. This team is nothing but old, and the best playmakers like TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward are going to be gone in no time. So for me, this is like, if I could slide a team below avoid, this would be them. Along with the Dolphins.
Let's see if we can run through these last ones. Seahawks, I'm putting them at great. I could be talked into easy. I worry about the quarterback situation, running back situation. I think there's a much better team in real life than they are in Madden. I don't think Shaheed's a great Madden player. I think there's like real life players who are really, really good in real life, but not great Madden players. Talk me one way or the other, Mr. Big Hurt, your team.
I mean, I like the team. I agree with you 100%. This is a better real life team than a Madden team. I don't mind Darnold as a quarterback. He fits me and my style, but it's not going to be a long-term thing. Running back wise, I wish Jadaean Price would have gotten a little more love, because I don't think he's better than Jeremiah Love by any means, but I don't think he's where they gave or put him. I think he's going to have a good career in the NFL, but They've got good pieces there. And offensive line's not bad. Defense, they got pieces. I'm excited to use them, but I definitely have some holes that I need to address. But I also have some pieces that I will have for the whole cycle and be able to compete with. So I would agree they're probably a great team. Yeah.
The only holes you addressed the other day when you played me were my holes. Maniac, what are you thinking about the Seahawks?
I'm going to leave them at great for only the simple fact is they've got 17 players that are 29 years old or older. So I think if they were a little bit younger across the board, I think that would probably be an easy. That's the only reason why I'm going to bring them back down. I think, though, the open window for this team is the first couple of seasons, I think, where you really have your best shot at getting a championship with them. So, but yeah, leave them right there at that great spot.
You guys might call me crazy on this next one. I'm putting San Francisco as bad. I just don't like the quarterback in most people's hands. I don't like the age of this team. Running back, receivers, tight end, all crazy old in Madden terms. I think the defense is getting old. I just don't like this team over a 5-season Madden cycle. Maniac, tell me I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy. I think the only thing you had to look at is D Money stuck with this team for so many seasons, and then he got out of Dodge when it was like, oh, the honeymoon's over with. Let's get away from this roster as quick as possible. I mean, they are old. They are old. I'm just quickly looking now. I think they're like 23 players that are 29 years old or older. And I think they've got a couple that are like 35, 36, 37. So it's insane. That's a tough roster to get when you come into Madden to try to win with right away.
Who has them?
Yeah.
Who has them? I don't know who has them.
Cincy.
Oh my goodness. Cincy's a great team builder, but man, it's a tough ask.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I don't Cincy's probably like one of the better quarterback users here. But I think that arm strength, I think that's going to affect him because he usually has quarterbacks that got a decent arm strength at best. So this will be interesting how he attacks this roster.
I would say they like for the early on in the cycle, I'd probably put them even like great to average. Back end, I'd probably put them bad. I'm going to land them on average for me. And I will also say this: Joe Burrow had similar arm strength two seasons ago, and since he tore me up with Joe Burrow anytime I played him, so Brock Purdy is not Joe Burrow, but he does have similar characteristics, and I know that since he's able to pass the ball, we all know that. And I will say, if there's anybody in this community that can take an aging roster and play and compete, it's Cincy. We know he doesn't need the most elite fast receivers. He's going to take Mike Evans and make Mike Evans good. He's going to take the offensive line and the linebackers. He went and got Levante David and all these guys that are vet linebackers, and he competes, and that's just what he does. So I think if in anybody else's hands, I'd be like, this is going to be a rough cycle for you. But in Cincy, I think he figures things out and puts a team together because he'll take the guys on a 1 year and then move on and pick up another guy out of free agency or something and plug and play. And that's just what he does. So I would say they're average for me.
I moved them up only because it's Cincy. If it was just about anybody else's name attached to them, I'd keep them at bad. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm putting them at bad. I think they're aging. Much better real-life team than Madden team. I don't know if you're going to win with Baker. There's nothing behind him. I don't love the playmakers. I just don't like that team at all. Big Hurt.
I'm going to put them at average just because I do like Ibuka and I do like Bucky Irvin. The times that I wasn't sold on Bucky Irvin until I played Maniac a handful of times in some test games. And Bucky Irvin's like shown some promise, and I like that. What I've seen, offensive line with Wirfs and Mock and a few of these other guys, I think he has the offensive line. Ruben Bain, I feel like, is going to be an elite pass rusher in no time. early on, Vita Vea is going to be a problem for the first year or so. Jeremiah Trotter is going to be really good. And then as far as like the secondary, Parrish, Morrison, Winfield, Tyke Smith, like he's got pieces there. Two of them, the corners are pretty young. So I think this team for me is going to be in the average spot. And I think Maniac does well in building and managing rosters and contracts. He's going to take some of these older guys like Baker, move on, fill in. And I think he has more playoff seasons than non-playoff seasons, and he will compete.
No, I mean, it's I think average is a good spot for the Bucks. There is some pieces that are aging, but there is some youth on this team. And I think it's going to give a little bit of longevity for, especially into like that third and fourth season, and possibly the fifth season, because the offensive line, they're not super great right now, but most of them have at least what could be at least four seasons out of each one of the offensive linemen that I have right now. So I think that's probably one of the best things about the roster, and they can improve defense tackle. They're getting a little older, but they're going to be good early on. Replace those guys. Secondary is like super young, super fast. So I think that's just going to help in the long run for the longevity.
We're over an hour. It's taken us over an hour to get through just this section. So we still got a whole bunch of questions to get through. And I still got a game to play, which I may have to wait till tonight now, but we'll see. Tennessee Titans, I want to put them at a void. And ain't nothing about that team that I like at all. I'm only putting them at bad because of the owner who's taking them. But you can easily talk me out of putting them there and putting them at a void. What do you think about the Titans, Mr. Maniac?
This is kind of a tricky one. I do think there is some aging issues here, but I think it's spread out good enough, and I think you got a good enough roster of young guys at every position. I think you got a good young running back, you got a good young quarterback, wide receiver. You got young guys that are very capable of coming in and stepping up within the next couple of seasons really well. I think longevity. I think this team is built to have success, longevity. And even if you look at most of their offensive line is younger guys with decent overall ratings. I think, again, D-Money is kind of the tell. If you see the guy moving from a roster that he's worked so well with, and all of a sudden that roster got older, and he's moving to a younger roster that has a lot of capability, I think this team is probably on the verge of having a really good season. So I might even move them in the average spot as well.
I would say they're great for their jerseys, but that's it.
I ain't gonna lie, you got me. I was like, is this guy off his rocker? Great.
They're awesome.
For the jerseys. But I would say avoid. I mean, the pieces here that I like, I'll just flat out. Carnell Tate, love him. So Kedrick Falk, the defensive end, love what he's probably going to turn out to be. Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas, the rookie, I think he's going to be good. Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State, free safety, think he could be something. But like the guys outside of that, Cam Ward, maybe. Jeffrey Simmons, I think he's a great player, old. And outside of those guys that I've listed, I don't think there's much left on this roster. And I would put them at void. I think they're better than like the Colts and the Texans, but I actually would put your Saints above the Titans, in my opinion.
I would too.
But I would slide them in the avoid category.
Commanders, last team. Boy, I'm sort of all over the place with this team. The quarterback gives me hope. I know he's got some potential running backs. The receivers, I don't really know. Offensive line, I don't really know. Defense is still questionable. I'll stick them at average, and I'll let you guys tell me where we should put them. Mr. Big Hurt.
I'm going to put them at bad. I think Jaden Daniels can make them an average or great opportunity. I do like Ja'Cory Okrosky Merritt at running back for a Madden player. but their receivers, I love Terry McLaurin in real life. Like we went back to that conversation. Great real life, but Madden guys, Terry McLaurin's just never been a great Madden guy. They did give him some love and some speed this year, which could change him to be a better Madden guy. But Diggs is older, McLaurin's old, and they don't really have much else outside of that. Offensive line, the guys that are good are older, and defensively, outside of Sonny Styles, the rookie linebacker from Ohio State, I'm not really sold on this team, and so I would put them probably in the bad category for me.
Yeah, I'm going bad with them. I mean, again, kind of like what Hurt said, the quarterback is the only thing that really makes it like stand out tremendously as a better team than what they are. Just for the simple fact you can do some things with him and Madden that you can't do with some other quarterbacks. Just again, they were like one of the younger rosters, I think, like 2 Maddens ago, and now they're like one of the, I don't know, older ones. As I'm looking through, there's a lot of 27-year-old guys, a lot of even older guys than that, and I'm all like, I don't know how that happened, but it did, and I don't think that's a great way to build your franchise, and so I think that's just going to hurt whoever's got the controls for this team. I think they will compete, but it's just going to be a tough uphill battle for the whole cycle.
We did it, fellas. We ranked every single team in the OMFL and how likely they are to win a championship over the 5 seasons. Let's go through these really quick. Easy teams we think to be able to win. We got the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Rams, and the Patriots. Great teams to build. Falcons, Bills, Bears, Bengals, Broncos. A lot of B's in there. Lions, Jaguars, Chiefs, Giants, and Seahawks. Average teams, Panthers, Packers, Chargers, Raiders, 49ers, Bucks. Bad teams, Cardinals, Browns, Vikings, Eagles, Titans, Commanders, and then teams to avoid. Texans, Colts, Dolphins, Saints, Jets, and Steelers. There you have it. Let us know if you're here live with us. Let us know down in the chat. If you're watching this later, let us know down in the comments. How would you rank your team or all the teams? I don't care. I'd love to hear from you about what you think. We're going to go to Tim with our last OMFL news before opening up the mailbag. We got a ton of questions to run through, and then we'll wrap things up here. Mr. Tim. I almost said Mr. Bill. I don't know why, but Tim.
Welcome back to the OMFL News. In the chat this week, I asked people to let me know what they did this summer. I'll be honest, I did not get that many replies. A lot of people said they worked, and somebody was super excited that a New York team won a basketball championship or something like that. But anyway, summer is over, school is back in session, and it's time to hand out reading assignments. Nipples! How to be engaged all cycle. Lay off the sex cruises. Nice songer. Succeeding despite lower expectations. Height. Oh, damn typo. Bill. I know what you're thinking. A book on patience. No. I want him to enjoy his New York teams. Like his hockey team, the Rangers. Or his football team, the Giants. You know what? On second thought, a book on patience works. D. Wayne. How to have fun and let other people win. That's it for the assignments. Now back to Nate and Maniac and Press Pass Live.
I'm not going to lie. When Tim has time to think about what he wants to do, that was pretty good. I got to give you Tim. Reading assignments, especially in a league where no one reads nothing ever at all.
That's the inside joke.
People drive me nuts about how they don't read and then ask me the same. I'm like, brother, I'm going to need you to go read and figure it out yourself. That was pretty freaking good. Kudos.
That's why he read it for him.
I thought that was pretty good, man. I love Tim. He's so funny. All right. First Press Pass Live mailbag question. We got this one from Speakpipe, our buddy Joker. Let's make sure that we're all going to be able to hear this. We should be able to. Joker, take it away, bud. maybe. Why is it loading? It's giving me the spinny wheel of death. Hold on, let me refresh and try it again.
Hey, OMFL, Joker here, original Backyard Outlaw.
Another hour, here we come.
For the guys would be, what do you think about the new play count? As far as plays
I hear
on
something
offense
very
and defense,
faintly.
we jumped up 250 from 500 to 750 on both sides of the ball. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know why it was really low. I didn't want to crank it up too much. Let me rehearse what he said back to us. He basically said, what do we think about playbooks going from 500 to 750? But of course, he submitted that before I told everybody that we will probably not allow you to do that. But anyway, what do you guys think?
Go ahead.
Well, I think that kind of just reiterates the reason of why we should even consider having custom playbooks, because at 500 plays, there's plenty of plays. You add another 250 to that. If you can't tell me if you can't get through a game and mix up your play calls with 750 plays, you've got problems. I mean, there's no way I could even use, even if you're, and I said this to Maniac and Cincy in a conversation, I don't even like building custom playbooks because I feel like I get hung up on the same style or scheme of player, just different formations. So I like using more stock playbooks because it forces me to like do different things and try different routes and whatnot. But at 750 plays, there's plenty there to get by. And yeah,
it's that's can you imagine? Can you imagine? I can only imagine. 750 plays. And I know they added a lot more different formations and stuff, but again, there's a lot of them in there that have the same type concept and stuff. So if you find a concept that really works, guess what? They're going to load up on all that same concept, and you're going to see the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So again, I'm all for just going team playbook and may the best man win.
Screenshot real quick. Nate's got his playbook.
You keep that same energy whenever I pitch that. So last night, first I was going to say, you think 500 plays was glitching out games and causing desyncs. I can't imagine 750 playbooks. I went through every playbook last night, offensive and defense, and was writing down how many formations in each. The original idea that I had was Maniac and I were discussing, I can't even remember the full conversation, but we were discussing NCAA and playbooks, and he said something that was like, that's it. That's how we limit the playbooks. Instead of amount of plays, we limit how many formations you can put in a playbook, and that will naturally limit how many plays people have. And as I was going through this last night, I had the same moment that Maniac just said of like, you know what? The issue that we face, and even if it is sort of like undercover backhand slaps that people take at each other, cheesy plays and plays that work, they're easy to find. Matter of fact, I have purposely stayed more plugged into that world just to know what's happening. Every week there's a new, do this, run this play's broke, one play touchdown, one play non-stoppable blitz. Why people think that's fun, I have no clue, but that's what they do. And it just hit me. Just like we are doing in the game with regression and progression and drafts, of trying to stay as close to what we get out of the box as long as we can, we should do the same with playbooks. And so I will be pitching to the team. There's a handful of playbooks we will not allow, like Ben Kirk's Dimes and Shotgun Classic and Spread Classic. I got a whole list that just are like not allowed. I need to go through a couple of the other team ones to make sure there's no funky ones in there. And you're just going to be told, pick a team playbook. You can switch team playbooks. I don't care, but pick a team playbook. They're going to be limited. You're not going to be able to stack them with all the plays that work and all the latest glitches and all the latest macros. It's just like, pick a playbook and we're rolling. And I really hope that the board backs me in that. So we'll see. We'll see what everybody thinks. Time to open up the mailbag. Boy, we got a ton of questions here too. Mr. Simple says, what are your first season early playoff predictions? Well, going off of what we just laid out, it would not surprise me at all if we get something like a Denbrew Dwayne show off again.
Nate, I'm gonna do the same thing. I got my book. I did my homework last night when I got home from work. I got NFC Cincy versus Wayne, AFC Loss versus Randy, Wayne versus Loss for the first bowl game, and I got Loss winning the first bowl game.
Cincy versus Randy would be an absolute. I'd probably pull the little bit of hair I got left out at the end of that one, because I'm sure that would get real close to that gray line that we always talk about. But those two dudes might hang up 200 points.
I'm looking at like Bill and the Rams, and we all talked about how his defense, his defense's pronus is. Man, he's going to have probably one of the best defense out of the box. And he's going to wreak some havoc. So look at Bill, and I'll also go with the Patriots thing as well. Lost Sniper. That would be a great first bowl game of this new Madden. That would be awesome.
D-Money says, which team's group of imports stand out to you the most? D-Money, thank you for making a little appearance in the chat, man. It's good to see you.
Wow.
I got to be honest, I haven't really looked at imports. That's going to be what I have to turn my attention to next. I've been grinding like crazy, doing all the boring stuff in Madden right now. What about you guys?
Well, I went through, and I think the teams that stand out for me are the Packers, the Broncos, the Saints, and the Pats. The Packers are bringing over tight end Atkinson, a tackle that is a 78 overall, and a corner that's a 74. Broncos are bringing over a 90 corner to pair with Surtain, a receiver, and an edge guy. I like what you've done with your defensive tackle X Factor for the Saints, a corner who's a superstar, and a running back. And then the Patriots, which I already think is a great team, you're bringing over an X Factor 94 overall Mike linebacker and an 80 overall hidden dev corner and a free safety to load up with that offense and that defense already. I think those are probably my top four. And if I had to pick one, I'm going with the Patriots.
Before I give it to Maniac, you just mentioned something that I don't even know if we'll get to it here, but like, I might have to remind everybody to go look at your imports one more time, because managing contracts and money in Madden 27 is not going to be easy.
Yeah, and that was something I was going to bring up too earlier. And thanks for reminding me. It hurt talking about Cincy going and signing these 1-year contracts. That ain't going to be very easy to do anymore, because them guys want more than just 1 year, most of them. So that's going to be interesting. But I think whenever I've looked at imports, I think you have to look at probably Cincy Bird. I like what he's bringing over. He's bringing over Underwood, the cornerback, 90 overall. He's bringing up right tackle, superstar, 85 overall. And then the quarterback that I think was a rookie, Nick Williams, superstar, 76 overall. I think that's just all three of his are superstars. So I would have to give him kudos for the best import.
And he solves that quarterback issue in San Fran and immediately injects some youth to that team. Big Hurt says, what import do you think will have the biggest impact on their team in Madden 27? Something tells me it's going to be a wide receiver in this league.
Doing my homework, I had 3 names down, and the one was the tight end for the Packers, Atkinson. Just the way Priest plays, he's got a lot of speed, and you're gonna have to force the play over the top. So there's going to be a lot of underneath open linebacker mismatches and stuff. I think Atkinson could have a really big year. I also think your defensive tackle that you're bringing over, just because the defensive tackles that have been elite, I feel like have made a huge impact. When I played with the Panthers, Brown made a huge impact. I played Maniac a handful of times. Vita VA has made a huge impact. And I haven't had that defensive tackle presence. So I just feel like if you get a good defensive tackle, I played the Bengals too, and Dexter Lawrence was. So it's like the teams that I played with that have that presence, it's a difference maker. And then the Mike linebacker for the Patriots, you give that into the middle of the defense with a guy like Lost. I mean, I know he's an offensive guru, but you bring in an X factor linebacker in the middle of that with a corner like Gonzalez, you're gonna just be able to take so much away. those are my top picks.
Well, I'm just going to keep mine short and sweet. I think look no further than D Money and his quarterback, Darren Edwards, 93 overall superstar, 26 years old, going to the Titans, who needs a quarterback, like we talked about. And if he still wanted to, he could groom the young guy behind him to be the backup and then maybe eventually take over when Edwards gets too expensive. But I think with him and then his other import he's bringing, that wide receiver, Emmanuel Knight, this guy's got some speed on the edge. I'd say that, yeah, I think these guys are going to make major impacts.
I also really like the rule that we implemented that kept people from bringing over like 6 cornerbacks, all in one team. I think that's where things kind of got haywire last year with D-Money bringing over a bunch of just crazy good players and then trading them off and piling up a bunch of more crazy good players. Mr. Hurt, on a bit of a run here, he says, do you think of any owner in Madden 27 will do what Dwayne did in Madden 26, winning multiple OMFL bowls? If so, who? My gut wants to say no, but if you look at the past, I think that, yeah, it is capable. If we're talking about at least 2, right? Multiple. I think you got to put Randy's name in there, Cincy Berg's name in there, you with the Seahawks, Big Hurt, Dwayne, of course. I really don't see D-Money doing it. I think life and the roster just isn't going to allow him to get there. And then there's always going to be some team that we just didn't think about, right? That comes out of nowhere and just wins a whole bunch of games. Big Hurt, we're going to make you go last on your own question. So, Maniac, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard. We always say it's going to be hard. Then we always end up having these Colin and the Bears come out of nowhere and win his first championship, or like Jay Bowles and the Raiders come out of nowhere and win their first championship. So again, I think it's possible. I think if you look at any of these owners that are in this league, the number one bet would be Dwayne to redo that again in this Madden, because I mean, why go against the king that has done it more than anybody since I've been playing here? D Money is right behind him, but Dwayne has had multiple Maddens where he's had multiple championships. So my money would be on Dwayne.
I wrote a couple names down, and I had Dwayne as obvious, and I think Randy's my top pick to compete with Dwayne. And then the other 2 names I had down were Lost and Bill. I think Bill could be the Joe Bowles or Colin of this year, but I think Lost would be kind of the other guy that I threw in there. I think since he makes an argument, I don't know that the roster is. I think he's obviously going to be a playoff team and a staple every year, but I don't know, championship for multiple seasons. I think he probably competes and gets 1 or is in a bowl game at some point. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to squeeze out 2 with the amount of overhaul that roster might take. But yeah, so I have Randy, Wayne, Lost, and then Bill.
I had myself muted. All good names. Another Big Hurt question says, after all the ownership movement from Madden 26 into Madden 27, are there any new rivalries that will be new, and which ones are you most looking forward to in Madden 27? I think with D-Money going over to the AFC, just like all of those. Now, D-Money's got quite the roster rebuild. Life is totally in his face now with 2 little ones and the way life happens when people have little ones. But, with Randy being over there, Little Koch taking over the Bengals again. Denver will rebuild that Browns roster. Nipples will be engaged for at least half of the season. Like, there's a lot of big names you got over there now. That's going to just make for, really fun AFC. That's the one that my head goes to. Anybody in the AFC.
Yeah, I think another one is Houday. Houday's making his return back to the OMFL. He's now the Chargers. Throw him in over there with all the AFC West guys. That's going to be, I think, some intriguing new rivalries. And again, I think like we talked about, rivalries. I mean, you got Big Hurt, Cincyburg buddies. I think this is going to be the first time that they're bashing heads against each other twice a season, because most of the time one was in the AFC, one was in the NFC. And so I think that one's going to be an interesting one to watch.
I wrote some down, and I'm just gonna roll through these. I got D Money versus Old Timer. I think that'll be an interesting one. I think Old Timer's smash mouth play and D Money's play could be an interesting battle. Bill versus Cincy, Bill versus myself. Me versus Cincy is gonna be a new buddy bull that we've got within the OMFL. Obviously, Cincy, Smash and Priest, I think is gonna be a fun one to watch. Just because Smash is such a like ground and pound style type of player. Got his favorite team. Priest has his favorite team, and it's more like an air raid type of player. And then I had D Money versus Nips. I think will be a fun one to watch. Randy versus Jay Bowles. Even though like that we got a glimpse of that at the end of the cycle, but now that Randy's got his Broncos for an entire season. And then stepping outside of the conference, I got Randy versus D Money, and I've got Cincy versus Wayne, and Bill versus Wayne in the NFC that I think are going to be interesting. I also think Randy versus Lost Sniper could be an interesting one for like a playoff rivalry, because I think I can see both those teams being a staple every season.
Completely agree with you. Those are some good ones. This is a good question. He says, last one, haha, what non-import? So real life NFL player, Madden 27, do you think will have the biggest impact for their team? My head kind of goes to the Raiders. Like, they've gotten some really fun players. Like, does he build Mendoza? I don't know what his plan is. Can he get Thornton back up there? Like, the Raiders kind of catches some of my attention, but what about you guys?
I ran through. I got Waddle for the Broncos with Randy, and
That's a
Patrick
good
Surtain. I think he's gonna have an elite shutdown corner. Vita VA with the Bucks and Maniac. I think he's gonna make that guy a problem. Old Timer with Jonathan Taylor. Bijan Robinson with Zoe. I think Zoe's just such an elite player, and he's got Bijan that's like an all around pass catcher but runner. Like, I think he's going to make him a like an MVP candidate. Tatoria McMillan with Bird, the receiver. He's just a physical receiver. Bird's got his favorite team. And then Myles Garrett with Bill. I think Bill's just such a defensive guy, and he's got an elite rusher that he don't have to worry about. And if we get any type of instant pass rush with the rest of Bill's defense and his way of calling defenses, I think Myles Garrett could be an absolute problem.
Yeah, I think there's a few guys that could probably be on this list, but I'm gonna say that personally, with my team, Beta Bay, I think he's the only 99 strength guy in Madden. I think currently, except depending upon imports, but just a regular NFL player. I think he's going to be a very impactful guy. There's so many. I mean, gosh, we can sit here all day, and I know we're like sitting at 2 hours now already.
We are. I was going to say that after this. I was like, we're already at 2 hours. I told you I can't have you two on the same show.
So I'm trying to think, but I think you look at Dwayne, what he does with the running backs. I think one thing we're going to see possibly though is him using Pickens. I think Pickens is going to be one of those ones that is going to be an impact player that we're not used to seeing Dwayne use a whole lot, with wide receivers. But I think we're going to see him use wide receivers a little bit more this Madden. That's my feeling.
Nice Hunger. What has been the biggest challenge for getting ready for Madden 27? You guys answer this from your perspective. Mine has been I've grinded at the boring stuff that no one really thinks about, and 90% of leagues look at the 2 or 3 content creators that put out, use these settings for your CFM, things like regression, progression, draft classes, best development to use. That's been a real grind. I've put in over 20 hours just looking at that stuff alone, and it makes for some long, lonely, just boring nights, but you got to do it. That has been something I've really, really grinded at, and that's been the toughest one. The next is going to be rules, because I just openly and honestly, the board is busy, like all of us. There's like a handful of y'all, including me, that like, this is your thing outside of work and family, and this is your thing. Most guys are like, this is one of 100 things they do, and they give as much time as they can. And our board is really smart, just good dudes that very successful, who give a lot here. With that said, what usually happens here is Nate comes with a billion ideas, and we pass most of them because we're slightly unplugged and we're not fully into it. We haven't played a lot, and we're just like, okay, if he says do it, let's go with it. And then by season 2, I get a little pushback. By season 3, I get a lot of pushback. And then we usually, by season 3, we've snapped right back to where we were before the cycle started, where the last cycle ended. And we just sort of rinse and repeat. That's the same thing over and over and over and over. So the next big hurdle will be pitching all of these rule changes that I have. But the game is evolving. The game is changing. And I will constantly push us to evolve with the game, and hopefully guys will trust me and be willing to try things on, and I won't get it right. I will mess it up a lot of times, but you can't say it isn't because a lack of effort in research and time put into it, because I've been putting in the time, and I appreciate like Maniac and Nicesonger and Randy and Bill all jumped in the other night to help me, and so like guys have been there. Big Hurts jumped in a few times. Like guys have put in the effort to help me, and it's worked a lot. What about you guys? What's been the toughest thing to get ready?
For me, I've been playing test games, and I just like the reason I left last year, which I was open about, with like dealing with like a lot of work stuff, is just trying to like be level-minded and level-headed when I'm playing these test games and not getting frustrated or anything like that. And I feel like I've done a good job about that. But I've played so much test games and stuff that I haven't really dived into like an offline franchise to see how that whole contract and free agency frenzy and stuff. And I just know, like I've heard from multiple people, like buddies that have offline that I work with, that have gotten mad and they've been talking about it, how it's different and stuff. So like I did create a franchise a couple days ago, and I'm just going to try and put some time in when I have time to maybe play or, you know, sim a couple seasons and just get used to like what is going on and what's happening. So I'm not caught blindsided. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of guys in this league that are going to get caught blindsided. But I would also say, kind of off topic to one point you made, and it came up earlier, I am pro and very heavy in support of going stock playbooks. I just think custom just allows too much. And now that we've opened it up even more, I've just never been a fan of custom playbooks. So I really hope that the board does support you with that, because I think that would level the playing field, and it doesn't hinder our top end players either. Like there's plenty of playbooks. You can pick any of the 32 team playbooks, you know, go find the one that you like the most. And so I'm for that, and I'm behind you on that one.
Maniac, before you go, he said something I didn't want to lose, and it came up in a game that you were playing, and I was in the chat with you. Friends who are playing these test games, you will not get a trophy for winning the test game, okay? It has no bearing on your record for Madden 27. No one notices. Kick and punt the ball to the other dude and let him return it. We're just playing. We're just playing to see what works, what doesn't work. So let people play. Like this whole strategy and like sending blitzes and like doing every gimmick you can do. It's like, just play the game. We're just trying to see if sliders work. Maniac.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, the biggest challenge I think is getting ready for Madden 27 for me is just the different systems that are evolving within the franchise itself. You know, it's just, you know, yes, there is a lot of things that are the same. There is a lot of things that haven't changed, but there is a lot of things that the way it's done has changed. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to be in trouble. So this is for me too. We got to get plugged in whenever things are going. You got to be able to. This is probably going to be. I've only used I can't even think of the app to actually log in when things are going on to my console. I'm going to have to get that going this year, because there's going to be some times that I'm going to be at work when things are going on that I need to be, I take a break, whatever. I can take 5 minutes to come and make sure that I'm getting stuff from my team. Because if not, if you let it slide by, it's going to bite you in the butt, and then the crying is going to happen, and there's going to be nothing we can do. I mean, nothing they can do about it, because you didn't talk to your guy. He's going to retire, or something crazy like that's going to happen, and people are going to be like, well, I don't understand why is this going on, but it's just part of the game now. And you're just going to have to get used to it. But yeah, I think that's going to be one of the major things that for myself and for others to get used to.
Contracts and free agent frenzy. I really, they got to fix some things. They got to patch some stuff before we get rolling. But I am very excited about what that's going to look like. Thanks, Randy. Just checking on baby girl. And Gators, you're 100%. Except for, I think there will be no custom macros allowed, but I probably will allow a couple of the default. I think only one on offense, because the other ones get weird. But all the ones on defense, I think I'm going to allow, or at least I'll pitch that. Cincyberg says, over, under, D-Money wins pick'em or gold sheet 2.5 more times this cycle. I don't know how the guy does it. It's crazy. It's like he's the smartest, luckiest guy in the whole wide world. I'm going over.
I'm saying he has got whatever voodoo stuff he does or whatever. I don't know. It works for me, because he can be nowhere in the picture, and then 3 or 4 weeks before the end of it, he's in first place. So I don't know how he does it.
I'm gonna say under, just because he's gonna be more focused on building his team this year.
Who gets more wins this cycle as a new team? Bill, the Rams, or Colin with the Giants? I'm going Colin long term, because I think it's a better long term roster.
I think Bill up front in the first season or two, but I think Colin over the 5 season cycle.
I'm gonna make it interesting. I think they tie.
I don't think we mentioned, but I love the Dr. Pepper outfit we're rocking here. It just makes me think of college football. I love it. Mr. Cincyberg says, what do you value more? This is a good question. Offensive tackle or defensive end? I'm going to offensive tackle.
On the Dr. Pepper at the end of the show, me and Maniac are having a throw off toss. This is a question I do like, and I'm going to say offensive line, unless you have a elite edge rusher like a Micah Parsons or like a Myles Garrett. Then I want that guy, because that guy like wins that pass rush every single time. But if you got like a mid to low end guy, I'd rather have the offensive line, because I feel like not only do they help in the pass game, but they help in the run game as well.
I'm going to say offensive tackle, because I think defensive tackle is more valuable than defensive end, because I think if you have guys that are solid on the defensive end, your guy causes just havoc in the center of that offensive line. They're going to scramble out, and you're going to get some freebies. So to me, I think it's offensive tackle, because defensive tackle is more valuable on the defensive side.
Gators, I seen your message in the DMs while we were doing the show. I'll get you a team, brother, but you're like second or third on the list. So a few guys in front of you, but when the team gets there, we'll definitely get you in here and get you involved. I'd love to have it. Love the engagement. Wrapping us up, Randy says, and I was thinking about this one, who would be your early pick for breakout coach of the cycle, similar to J-Bow's last cycle? So this is a guy that doesn't eat a ton in the past cycle. He not a lot of wins, not a lot of championships, but a guy that just kind of explodes, and he finally gets there. And looking at all the names, and not to take them all so that we all say the same group of names, I'm just going to pick one. I'm taking Houday. I think we forget how great Houday was. Houday, I am still salty that you did not pick a time for media days. You and Massimo are the only two guys who didn't come be a part of media days, and it felt intentional. But no, you're a great player, and it doesn't surprise me at all if you win a lot this season. So I'm taking Houday.
Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I think if you want to call a breakout coach, but Zoe's already kind of been like, we know he can do, but he hasn't never won anything. I think Zoe is going to be one to watch. I think he's going to break out and get deep into the playoffs this cycle. So I would say Mr. Zoe.
I had 3 names pop into my head at this when I were this question, and I started thinking about it. I already talked about how I think the success of Lost this cycle, but I kind of expect that because the loss is just loss. He's amazing, does amazing things, good player, got the roster. And I don't really see that as a breakout. I had Zoe as my other one. I think he had moments, and I always got his favorite team with a player like Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. The defense, I think he can break out and make some noise. But the guy that I'm on and I'm going to settle on is I think Joker. I think Joker this year breaks through, bringing that receiver over. And I just think last year he had some struggles with the defense. I think he figures that out. And I think Joker this year has some success. And I think he could be the guy to compete with Lost in the division and the AFC. So I think that would be my breakout.
Joker's a good one. That Joker was one I almost went with because I think, Joker's a really, really good player. And I still don't know about that roster, though. He didn't win with them last year, so we'll see if he can get there this year. But I thought Joker was going to be a really good one. Fellas, we've reached the end of the show, the 485-hour show. We finally got there. What a marathon.
3-hour tour.
I feel like I need to check on my wife to make sure I'm still married after all of this. Give me some final thoughts, Mr. Hurt.
I'm just ready to get going. I just want to say, kind of to wrap it up, like for me, I had my moments last year, and I just think we all need to come in, even like we talked about it throughout the show, like moments of the issues that Madden or the franchise, like don't get hung up. Don't feel like it's a stub toe again. Like, here we go again. This game's broke. Like, it was a new game. There's a lot of new coding, a lot of new features. You kind of have to expect some of those things. I think with the amount of time and testing that you put in, I think things are going to be a little more challenging. I think that is going to bring more parity. We got D Money that switched over, and I think he's not going to be the top dog with the top team. I think he's still going to compete, and the guy that he is, he's going to build a team, but it opens the door for some of these other people. And so just plug in, play. And like I said a minute ago, like I got to put some time in and sim a few seasons so I'm not blindsided with something as far as managing my roster, my team, and the things that are new. I don't want to hear those things come up and be like, well, I had no idea. Like, put the time in. It's time to engage now. We're like right around the corner, and like you had mentioned, like this is your one thing. This is kind of my one thing outside of work and my kids. I get this, and my wife's just like, why do you play video games? And it's like, this is my escape from life. This is my escape. This is how I like decompress. This is where I, with all the shit I had going on last year, like this is the only thing that really kind of kept me, and then it spilled over into my video games and didn't end up well, but I'm thankfully still here. So just go into this year. It's a new game, new mindset. Plug in, get invested, play, have fun, and time's here.
I'm thankful you're still here too. I always hate when guys leave, and some guys leave and I'm not ready for them to come back, but you're not one of those guys. Both of you. Us three have all had our separate moments over the 10 plus years that we've all known each other, but I'm glad that you guys are still here and still helping me build this thing. And I also want to point out the details. That's right. We got a couple of OMFL championships right there behind my guy, Big Hurt. Now, I do have an OMFL championship. That was before we started buying trophies. So he's got 2 of them bad boys back there. Maniac and I still searching for our big first trophy to actually put somewhere in the back. I should just buy me one since I know I won one and put it back there. I can't even tell you what year it would have been, though. Mr. Maniac, give us some final thoughts, bud.
Final thoughts. It's been a 3-hour tour, but man, it was fun. A lot. Enjoy talking about it. Always enjoy talking about the league. It's one of my favorite times to get in on Press Pass Live and just yak. So appreciate you guys. Definitely, you got to get tuned in. You got to figure these things out because, again, it's not like it has been before where you sign the free agent and you get them for the 1 year and you can cut them, because these guys, if they're good, they are asking for 2 and 3 year contracts, and you can't just get rid of them afterwards. So I can just see the misery already happening. Guys, please get plugged in and start testing those things out so that you're aware, and that you're not caught with your pants on the ground looking like a fool, because it would not be too hard to have that happen, because there's just a lot of different things. So, but let's get ready. Let's have some fun.
I always laugh at both my buddies here because both float on their camera. Like as the show progresses, their faces go off and back onto the camera. They just both float. I always avoid those late night DMs that I know I'm going to get, or those first thing in the morning I check and I see a list of DMs. I know that this is not going to be a bunch of fun conversations. Listen, I love a couple things I'm going to say. I love the board. They give so much. They sacrifice a lot. They really do. They're also really busy guys that they don't always fully like engage with me. I know now that people are not getting their division messages. I just know that not every division has gotten their message from their board member. And I know that there are owners who are not plugged in. I'm looking at a handful of you that I just don't ever see you. Matter of fact, I'm going to go right now. I'm going to go through the owners list. Actually, that thing isn't even updated. So let me go over here. I'm going to call out some names of guys I ain't seen in a hot minute. Emperor, I know that you're maybe on vacation, but I ain't seen my guy Emperor in the chat at all. Birdman, a little bit for games. That's about it. Who else are we missing? D-Money. Well, I mean, no, D-Money is D-Money. You never see him. Nipples every now and then. Little Kachi's busy right now. Massimo busy right now. Where's that guy Old Timer been? I feel like I haven't seen him in forever either. Pepper, he's pretty quiet fella. You'll see him every now and then. Raj, I know, has a lot going on right now. Mizzy, like, I don't know where Mizzy's been. I'll get a DM like once a month from him, but I have no clue where Mizzy's been. Priest has been pretty busy lately. Twinkie, well, I love you, Twinkie, but you're never engaged. Houday, I don't know where Houday's been. He was like every day, and then I haven't seen him around in a long time. And our buddy James, I don't really ever see James in the chat. Gators, really quick, says, quick question before you go. How long has the OMFL been around? And the average time same owners have been in the OMFL. We've been around with the world's oldest and longest online CFM. There's an old timer in the chat. I never see you in the chat, and I do. Usually I see you live, but I haven't seen you lately. Started in 2001. January 2001 is when we started as a PC league. Still going strong today. Very small breaks, if any. I'm not sure that we ever missed a Madden. We maybe didn't finish a cycle, but we never missed a Madden. Average owner, I have no clue. I'd say the massive core, a good solid 20 to 25 have been here 5+ years, maybe a little bit longer than that. I would say the last 2 Madden cycles that we've had the most owner movement for whatever reason. We usually cycle through the same guys who like get upset and leave, usually cycle back through and get upset and leave again and cycle back through again. It happens to the best of us. Timeline. I'm hoping by Monday we can make a decision on when to start. I just don't want to start until we know that we're not going to have to restart the CFM, because we do the imports. That is so much freaking work. I don't want to have to do that 2 or 3 times. We've had to do that in the past, and guys will do it.
Right.
I just don't want to do that if we don't have to, because my main guy that does it, D-Money, is not able to. He'll still help this year, but he's not really able to. So by Monday, I'm hoping we can have a timeline, and I'm hoping it is next week we start building the CFM. And by the end of next week, we start playing the preseason. We will play the entire preseason because we got to test things. I need to see what's going to work and what's not going to work, and then get in the regular season the week after that. So that's sort of the timeline. Again, engage, come check out stuff, read stuff, like just plug in, go test things, because I'm just afraid these contracts and the free agency and like all of it's going to catch people off guard. And man, you make one really bad mistake early in this Madden, and it could haunt you for the entire cycle, because it's just harder to sort of get past, bad contracts, bad team building. It's just not going to be easy. And I'm excited about that. Like, that excites me. A lot of new rules that I'm going to be tossing out there to hopefully open things up, make it a lot more fun. And come play some test games. Give me some feedback. I'm looking for some minor feedback still. And Maniac's face is telling me he's had something to say for like 5 minutes.
Oh, no, I'm reading.
Oh, there he is. He's reading. He's on that Tim reading plan.
I forgot I was on camera.
He said, I forgot I was on camera. Hurt, Maniac, it's been a pleasure. Maniac, I'm going to get my game. Well, I have till Sunday, so I don't know why I'm saying this. I'll have to play it tonight because I don't have enough time now. We all talk too much. But I might get a little half of a test game in if anybody's around for a test game. Guys, thank you. I love you. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. Like, Lost Sniper popped in here a second ago. What makes the OMFL different? We're all internet friends. I've only met a handful of you guys, but like, I try to really get to know people, and hopefully what you see is what you get. Now, through text, I can be misunderstood, as I misunderstand people sometimes. And look, dealing with 32 if you count me, other adults can be a challenge, to say the least. Sometimes we're just in bad moods, and you're in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood, and two bad mood people disagree on something, and it ends very ugly. It happens to all of us. It's part of relationships. I truly love and care about the people, the men in this group, and it's a big part of my ministry. It's a big part of my purpose on this planet. Yes, I love video games, but I love creating spaces where people can have relationships, and that's what Grown Folks is all about. And I hope one day we really explode and really start to grow with people from all over the world playing here and playing different games. But on Lost Sniper, I'm going to make a whole video on Lost Sniper and what he's built. You guys you can see the chat, but you can't see what the chat's about. I cannot wait for owners to see what the OMFL news is about. Like, what Lost has built, that app that you can bet on and manage your team and look at streams, and this news thing is like, it's just mind-blowing. Like, I don't think we appreciate how much Lost Sniper has added to this thing. A lot of it, real quick, and then I'm gonna shut up. I think it's important because I enjoy everybody here. One thing doesn't have to be less for another thing to be greater. Both things can be great. And I know that I probably hurt some feelings the other day in chat when I said Lost Sniper has probably been the most impactful guy here. It doesn't mean that somebody else isn't awesome and amazing and hasn't left their fingerprint, but what he's created in the app and with this news and with the other things that he's done is just like that system is bigger than anything I've ever created in this league. And I can't wait to see. Again, the board got to see it. So Hurt's sitting here like oblivious of what we're talking about. But I'll just say that we're going to have a live, interactive set of personalities that are watching the league and reporting on the league as a personality about what's happening. And it's going to be awesome. And it makes the league feel alive and like, holy cow, like, what is this? It's super cool. And I cannot wait to talk about it. If you have not jumped into the new app that he has built us, you need to go check it out, log in. It's not only just for games and stuff. You can watch streams there. It's just super, super cool. So make sure you check it out. I'm talked out. I'm sick. I'm going to take medicine, and then I'm going to go play a half of Madden football. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you matter. I'll see you tonight.
Peace.
Smash that like and subscribe.